My name is Stephen Barstow, I'm author of a book Around the World in 80 Plants, and today we're talking about some of my favourite perennial vegetables, which are also featured in my book. Rosebay Willowherb, Geitrams in Norwegian. And these young shoots, of course, can be used in the springtime as a kind of an asparagus, but you can also have a little bit in salads. Here we have another chive. This is a variety called Black Isle Blush, which has a very, when the flowers appear, they appear to blush, and they come from. I got them from Scotland, from a guy, Alan Carter there. Rather pretty, one of the most pretty chives. And next to it we have Vinterkarse, which have these tasty broccolis, which are mostly, I usually cook them. They're slightly strong tasting without boiling first, but in a mixed salad you won't notice it when you mix with all the other herbs. So we'll have a little bit of that. Here we have a plant in the Bellflower family, which is Adenophora. It's related to the Campanulas, and all the Campanula family are edible. So we'll have a bit of that in the salad. Here we have another Campanula. I've forgotten the name of that one, but it's the one with the biggest flowers. Campanula. Not so useful because the leaves are quite small compared to some of the other ones.
Grandiflorum pendula.
Yeah, it could be grandiflorum, but it's not. It's, no. I'll let you know when it appears. This is actually another type of top-set onion, or you call Liljebegerblom in Norwegian. But this is actually, whereas the normal Egyptian onions are crosses between Allium kepper and Allium fistulosum, this one is a cross between two other species.
Okay.
They're not totally sure, or maybe even three species. And this also produces these small onions on top. It's called Allium cornutum, normally, to simplify it. Now this is an interesting one. This is called Spring Beauty in North America. These lovely flowers. Claytonia virginica. If you dig under, you'll find that it has quite large roots. And the tubers, which can be used as a root vegetable. I think we'll put it back again. The flowers are rather nice at this time of year in these mixed salads, so we can have a few of those. This is Asta yomiana from Japan, which also has tasty spring leaves. You really have to taste asters because they have a very special.
Yes.
There's nothing else like asters. Slightly aromatic, flowery, something. Yeah, we can actually see this is a hostas. It's one of my favourite perennial vegetables because they're productive and they produce and they sprout later in the spring than most other things, so they can complement some of the other perennial vegetables.
And you bleach them as well?
You can bleach them, yeah, absolutely. But we just take one of the shoots here, and so we can use that in salad and cook with them. Very tasty. They're not bitter at all, and very good for the forest garden because they tolerate being on the north side of my house. Okay. My biggest hostas are, and they never get any sunlight at all. So it's quite astonishing what they manage to produce without sunlight. Total opposite to the traditional vegetables. Here we have another botanical onion, which I particularly like. It's very long stems. See these? Again, no English name. It's Allium humaenorizum, I believe. And there's also some flower buds coming out there, which are also very tasty. Oh, this one's rather nice. This is, again, Tragopogon pratensis, or Jack Goes to Bed by Noon, the Schoenoprasum relation. Can use a few of those, but behind it is...
that onion?
No, it's not an onion, it's related to Schoenoprasum, which is mainly a root vegetable, but you can also use these young stems. So this is basically a weed in the garden, an edible weed, which I encourage, because I like it as a spring vegetable. So we'll weed that out a little bit, and then we have these shoots in the salad. You can also use the roots, but they're quite small in this place because they've not really been tended very well.
Oh, and these beauties.
Oh yeah, you've got those beauties as well. The wood sorrel, Oxalis acetosella. They're also very pretty in spring salads. Yeah, very lovely sour taste. Children particularly love to pick these in the woods where they grow.
Yeah.
The flower, both the leaf stalks and the flower stalks are very succulent, so it quenches your thirst. And right, your foot that's a self-sowed cowslip. They're also very beautiful and totally edible. So that's not really supposed to be there. So we'll just use a bit of the leaf and a bit of the flower in the salad. Okay. And so as I was going to say, down here there's a beech plant in Norway called Honkania hetloides, which is very tasty.
Is it salty?
Not particularly in the garden, I don't think. No, it's got a mild, maybe slightly, no, not really. You see? Here you see a lot of rosenrot, also known as northern ginseng, which has become very popular mainly for its roots, but you can also use these spring shoots, which are delicious.
Aphrodisiac.
Aphrodisiac indeed. And this is another one I'm going to eat for the first time, another botanical onion called Allium regelianum. Comes from Russia. Another special species which I'm growing for the first time. This is an interesting one. This is Greek mountain tea, Sideritis syriaca. Mostly used as a tea plant, very popular tea plant in Greece. The reason it grows very well here is that it grows on the high mountains. In Crete you'll find it in the White Mountains, very high up, which have a very similar climate to here in Trondheim, believe it or not. You see that? A very late one. This is Allium hookeri from China. Another one, Allium ostrovsicianum, also very hardy. This is what I call Chicago onion, very large cultivar of Chicago onion, Allium cernium. It's called nodding onion also. I call it Chicago onion because the city name Chicago actually means onion in Indian language. You can see it looks quite nice. You can actually see that being sold in the supermarkets. It has this kind of red base to the leaves. Extremely hardy, extremely grows very quickly as a perennial. So from seed you can start harvesting after only 2 years, and it forms these big clumps. Okay.